For those who are meeting me for the first time, my name is Belangi Perez Torres. I am actually one of the directors of learning and development at Aspen Dental Management, Inc. I am a dental hygienist, registered dental hygienist. And before that, I was a dental assistant at a busy orthodontic practice, and being with adolescents with not the best hygiene fueled my passion to become a dental hygienist. So I found, I found it very rewarding to learn more about oral health. I would see gums swallowing brackets, and I was like, I got to know what's going on with these mouths. And it really helped engage my interest in the profession and the career, and find it very satisfying. As one of the directors of learning and development, my primary role is to help with the learning journeys of both dental hygienists and recently dental assistants as well, and also work with other departments too to help them understand the hygiene world, the clinical side. And it's great to be working with other professionals in different in their different skill set, and we bounce off sharing ideas, which is why I love LinkedIn, is because I expanded my network and connecting with non-clinicians, but learning from them and how can I apply that in the clinical world.
I love that. So I'm Emily Miller-Lair. I went to hygiene school at Rio Salado, if anybody knows Tempe, Arizona. Just recently, I completed my master's in ed from NAU. I serve on boards for the Maricopa Community Colleges, Phoenix College, Rio Salado Community College, and Carrington College. Just advisory boards, mostly dental hygiene, but also some dental assisting schools. I love to do anything I can do for the community, and Aspen does a lot with that. So I participate in our veterans events. We offer like days where we do free care for veterans. And I also have worked on our mouthmobile. And I was telling Bella earlier, you haven't lived life until you've been on a mouthmobile doing clinical dental hygiene, because it does move a little. I also last year was able, or 2019 was able to do the Glow Good and the Let Love Foundation's trip to help out people in the Bahamas. It was a lot of fun, and it was also a great place to stay. Before my life at Aspen, I was the lead clinical and didactic instructor for Fortis College in Phoenix. Lots of fun. I absolutely love students. Before that, I was with Philips Sonicare and Zoom as their product representative for Arizona and New Mexico. Then I found Aspen Dental, started working for Aspen as the territory manager of hygiene support in Arizona and New Mexico. So I got to work with hygienists in the field. It was super, super fun. And now I am the academic and industry relationship manager for Aspen. So I get to work with schools and just talk about what a career with Aspen might be like. And that's part of what our partnership here today is. I'm open to talking about those things with people, not necessarily on this platform, but later if you want to get a hold of me. But it's also just providing stuff for hygienists, which is like, I am the biggest advocate for dental hygienists and for dental hygiene careers out there. So if you don't know me, find me on LinkedIn. You need help, get a hold of me. That's exactly what I want to do. So, and you guys all know the very famous Martel. Martel, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? I think everybody
yes.
loves
Okay,
you, but tell us about you.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thank you guys for joining in. My name is Martel Koch. I am a dental hygienist. I was a dental assistant as well. Went back for hygiene school. Thought I was going to become a dentist and go to dental school because I wanted to be my own boss, right? And that didn't turn out. So I run a nonprofit called BrownGirlRDH, which gives scholarships to minorities and students, helping them in need. Our scholarships range from tuition all the way down to uniforms. So last year we awarded 16 students, even in the middle of a pandemic, and 3 of those students were able to get full tuition scholarships. This year we're like shooting to award at least 24 students. And one of the amazing things is the networking that I've done with BrownGirlRDH has transitioned me into not only just being a dental hygienist and being able to give scholarships and be on platforms like this, but also into practice management. So now I'm transitioning out of dental hygiene and going into practice management, where hopefully I have more time to do more things, to meet more people, and to provide platforms like this. So, yeah.
We are very lucky to be with you today. So thanks for hosting this, and everybody in the community out there, let us know what you think. We really value your feedback. So this presentation is very open. You know, as Bella's going to be talking, I can write with you or ask questions out loud. So please, 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 if you have them, ask them. Bella, I'll let you take it away.
All right, so let's start. What do we want you to take away from this next hour? Well, first, to describe what LinkedIn is used for and the value it brings to professionals. Second, we're going to give you 3 fundamentals that you can apply even at the end of the session with building a personalized introduction in LinkedIn. And last, you're going to be able to design, you're going to have the tools to be designing a headline using keywords to attract views and broaden your network. And it's going to be important because I've had great success with LinkedIn, and it took a while to explore and figure it out. It's a little bit intimidating at first, and it's very different from the other platforms. But once you get to learn and you understand some of the opportunities that you get from it, you're going to like it a lot. All right, so what is LinkedIn used for? It's a professional identity page that allows you to build and engage with a network to access knowledge, insights, and opportunities. So LinkedIn actually is broken down to like 3 categories. You're going to be connecting with people. They also have a learning platform as well within LinkedIn, and jobs. So when you think about LinkedIn, think of it as a digital resume. And matter of fact, I use LinkedIn as my digital business card. So when people ask me in certain conferences or events, I used to carry business cards, but from now on, I now ask the person right away, do you have a LinkedIn? Because for me, if we're connecting, there's some level of interest what we have for each other. I want to know what you're doing in your job, or what you're posting, or what are the things that are you interested in? And I want to share my projects I'm working on, or certain articles that I think is thought-provoking or may initiate certain conversations as well. So LinkedIn has now become my digital business card. And I do have a business card. Even my title hasn't updated in my business card because I rarely ever use it anymore. And jobs is key here. There are a lot of recruiters on LinkedIn, and they're paid recruiters. So there's a feature in LinkedIn that you can turn it on if you want to be a searchable candidate. And only recruiters usually can see who are these searchable candidates, and that's how they tap into some of the top talents in the industry. So how do you now create a headline so you stand out? Because there's over 100,000 dental hygienist in LinkedIn. And if you even search dental hygienist in the title, you'll see that almost everyone has the same headline, same things, and it's just not exciting. This is your place to show your personality to the profession and feel comfortable about it as well, because you're not really going in for an interview, and you want to display some of that personality in your headline right away. So those who are looking for specific candidates, you're going to stand out above the others. All right. The number one thing that LinkedIn is used for really is opportunity. And I have a funny story. At one point, I created an interesting headline, trying to be a little creative with my headline title, and I called myself an oral health ambassador. And I'm thinking from a marketing perspective, oh, that's a great term. All hygienists are oral health ambassadors. We're always promoting oral health. Well, that may have worked in America. What's interesting is I started to attract international invitations for speaking events for oral health. I mean, even got invited to Dubai.
They thought you were like a literal US ambassador of oral health.
Whoa. Do you not see the rest of my profile, like credentials and stuff? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientific research. I'm just a registered dental hygienist. And then I realized, why am I getting a couple of these international offers? And I realized they may not know what a dental hygienist is. That might not be a recognized role in another country. And they saw that, they're hosting this event all about oral health, what is going on. And I realized after researching these events that I'm not the best candidate for it. So I ended up having to change my headline. So I'm attracting the right opportunities I want for myself and not misrepresenting myself either as well.
That's the great thing though about LinkedIn. Like, don't be afraid to play like Bella did, because what did you have to do to change it?
Oh, very simple.
Right. So don't feel intimidated, like you can't put things on there, because if you find out it's not working for you, you can do what Bella did and change it.
And the fact that I'm being visible too, that's what I think what made me realize the power of LinkedIn and its networks. The fact that I am being seen, because there's some event going on that's looking for specific type of talent out there. And if you display it in your headline, and you're going to be searched. And how are you searched? Well, in LinkedIn, they have keyword search, and it's similar, just like Google or Facebook. And if I'm looking for those specific talent, or if I'm looking for a dental hygienist, you can filter out, where do I want this dental hygienist? And recruiters heavily rely on keywords. And I think we all should know the power of keywords in all these engines. And so if you build the right keywords in your headlines, you will become a top search in that, from the recruiter, or even if they're recruiting for an event or a job, you're available, you're going to be shown towards the top. All right. And this one I mentioned earlier regarding this open to work feature in LinkedIn. If you're looking for a new job, there is right below your personal header. If you select this and enable it, now recruiters can see that you are open to work. And this is good, because a lot of times recruiters will not or send you messages unless that feature is on. So the good thing about LinkedIn, it's more of a public platform. And when I have found that in some of the other social media platforms, they tend to be closed group, very closed, secretive. And if you really want to get the pulse of the current trends in dentistry, LinkedIn is what you're going to find it. You can see what some of these dentists are buzzing about, what is the top search. There's, just like we have Martell, who's a hygiene influencer, there's a lot of dental influencers as well. There's dentists who have podcasts, and what are they talking about? What are some of the conversations? What is their followers are saying about our profession? Those are the things that you want to keep a pulse on, to see, okay, how do we solve for this, or how do we collaborate together instead of having these silos of professions working in the same industry?
And Bella, I think, oh, you've got it. I was going to say, one of the things to warn you about though, if you are going to put that you're open to work, is if you work for a large company, there's definitely a recruiter there, and they will see, you see how this picture looks where you see the open to work, they're going to see that. So be open, make sure you've told people you're looking if you work for a larger company, because that's what it looks like for me on my end. I see this big green circle around your face, but everybody else doesn't see it.
That's a good call out. If you work for already a dental support organization, or a large dental practice that have an account, a professional recruiting account LinkedIn, if they see that their employee put that on, be prepared to have a conversation. And you know what? Why not initiate the conversation? So then when they see it, now they're not as surprised. So these are the things that you also need to be mindful of once you enable that feature, knowing that some of these larger corporations and practices may have a LinkedIn account.
And Bella, just to pause there, what are some ways that you could have that conversation with your employer? Because there's a lot of really positive ways. It doesn't have to be like, I'm leaving you. There's some really positive things that you can talk about with your employer that would make them more open to you having something like that open.
Yeah, I think, we're in January. A lot of the larger organizations may start to do annual reviews and those are an opportunity to, have that discussion and conversation. Say, I know, it's time for our annual review. I feel, and that's the time where you should be able to express how you feel, what you're doing, what value you brought. You probably should initiate what value you've brought during your time there, but also express a level of, dissatisfaction in certain areas, but be prepared to provide solutions too. Sometimes we complain. I tell my friend this, I'm like, people just complain a lot, but nobody's really providing solutions. So if you have a brainstorm idea and provide a solution, you don't know the power that solution could have in that practice or that office. So be prepared to have, initiate those conversations, provide a solution, and let's see if it's received or not. What I heard Dan Levy say a while ago, people get intimidated by talking to the executive table. But the reality is those executives are where they're at because the people below them were creative enough and innovative enough, and they took a chance on them. And now they are in these higher positions that they're at because people like us are offering these new ideas that otherwise nobody would ever have thought of or even acted on.
I totally agree. I think those are really, really great ways to have that conversation. Another interesting way too, many of us work part-time. So I think it's always okay to say like, hey, I'm looking for other things. And I think it's okay to talk about your long-term goals, like letting them know like, hey, long-term, like, Martel does, is now transitioning to a different role outside of the clinical. And I think it's okay if you have that relationship with your office to talk about that and say, I'm interested in doing these things as well. So you might see this. And if you do, I don't want you to be alarmed. It just goes along with what we've talked about in my career, in my long-term career goals. How did you approach it, Martel?
Yeah, I would agree 100% with what you said, Emily. I think most of us are kind of intimidated to let our bosses know or where we work know that we have other projects going on outside of what it is because we're scared. Like if they find out that I'm doing something, especially how small the dental hygiene, it was saturated, it isn't anymore, just to think like they're going to be replacing my position, right? So I think the conversation going in should be, hey, I'm a dental hygienist. I also have other interests, or I'm working on other projects, or, I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm doing hygiene, and just letting them know up front, like, this is what you're doing. So I was actually working in a practice for 4 years before I started BrownGirlRDH, which is a nonprofit. And I was very, well, it's kind of different, but I was very open into letting people know, my bosses know, like I have this nonprofit, I'm going to dental conventions now, I need time off, sharing things with them, inviting people to the group, and, pretty much to donate and to do things with what I was doing. So I made it, a lot of people, we don't want to mix our personal life with our work. But for what I was doing, it was exciting. I wanted the support. It was all about, letting people know what I'm doing for our profession, essentially, because it affects dentists, it affects hygienists, it affects dental assistants. So that conversation was had in the beginning. But I will say that they were all cool with everything in the beginning, but then when it started taking off and then I started taking more time off, it was an issue because not only was I just a hygienist, but I was actually the hygiene supervisor. So it was like, you're never here, we're gonna have to find a backup supervisor. And they were actually looking for a backup supervisor, but I did not care because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna work on my things before I work on yours. So if you wanna replace me, then I'm gonna let you be great. But you have to be mentally prepared, and you have to know, like, if this is going to happen, if I'm going to get demoted, or if I'm possibly going to get fired or let go because of it, just be prepared for it. Do not stop what you're going to be doing, what makes you happy, what you want to do. That's all I would say, because most people do get intimidated and they'll just stop and they won't work on their passion. So that's what LinkedIn is for. So that's how that went. TMI probably.
No, I love hearing it. It's real world. It's what's really happening. So I love hearing that.
Thank you for sharing. So what are the fundamentals on creating the professional introduction to help you stand out? And there's 3 core fundamentals. First, a handsome headshot. That's really simple and easy. And we're going to give you some tips and strategy on how to create a handsome headshot. Oop, I went backwards here. Next would be a hot headline. If you have the right keywords that help search recruiters to search you and you become more top visible, whatever you do, I mean, I think we all know that when we're browsing through profiles, we don't read the whole thing. We just look at what we can see fit in the top half of the screen, and then we go on to the next. We don't really dig into it. And so although LinkedIn, you can include your whole resume in there, that's the last thing someone's going to read. You got to catch their attention from the beginning, from the photo, from the image, and having a hot headline and creating an awesome about. And an awesome about is more the summary aspect of LinkedIn. If you hook somebody in these 3 key points, they won't even care what's on the resume, as long as you have maybe whatever degree they're looking for. They want to hear more about you, learn more about you, and the talent that you bring to the profession. So I'm going to have Emily go over the handsome headshot.
Nice. So my handsome headshot, if you look on LinkedIn, could use a little help. And I'll let you guys, if you want, you can take a peek and let me know what it is. But when we're looking at a headshot, there's some things that we want to see and there's some things that we want to avoid. It's not, I think, and we'll have an example up here. It's not like Facebook. So we don't want friends, family. We also don't want like cropped out friends and family. I know the feeling of a good angle. And you've got that great picture that you just really want to use. But for LinkedIn, it's really your professional profile. So you got to get one with either a blurred out background or a blank background that really features you. We can go ahead and jump to the next slide.
But when you describe handsome, when people think of handsome, these are some of the key words we have.
Yes. So attractive. These are literally definitions.
Exhibiting skill, taste, and refinement stood out on me.
Yes. Having pleasing proportions, relationships or arrangements, and exhibiting skill, taste, and refinement. And I think that really goes to some of our personal ones that we might use for Facebook or for Instagram. Instagram and Facebook are way different than LinkedIn. This is that professional headshot photo, which you can actually do yourself. It's really not the expectation on LinkedIn that you go to a photographer, but there's a lot of tips and tricks that you can do at home to make yours look professional. Can jump on to the next guy.
Well, speaking of the social media platforms, I think the perfect model of what these photos, headshots should look like in the different platforms would be Dolly Parton.
Guys, I know it's super nerdy, but I absolutely loved it. She's so nice. She's just a nice person. Okay. I mean, the music is so, but she's nice. That's all that matters. But to Bella's point, check out her LinkedIn. I mean, that's her 9-to-5 look. She's got, her suit on. She's standing up. Her Facebook's a little more fun and flirty. Her Tinder, we know what that is. And then her Instagram is like lifestyle and showing all that. I love it.
You guys can catfish your LinkedIn. Doesn't have to look like you.
Yeah.
Put a catfish there, we could.
But keep in mind the social media platform you're using is you're highlighting a different personality of you. You're still being authentic, but there's different skill sets you want to have your audience see in these different platforms. And so if you know who your audience are, you're going to probably tweak your photos and your content to cater to that specific audience. And so keep in mind that if you know how to differentiate who your audience is, then you know how to communicate and engage more people based on the platform you're using.
And nobody does it like Dolly, I guess. This was a big thing that came out a couple of years ago, if you guys all remember, but it's a lot of fun. So how do we do it at home? This can be something as simple as going out with a relative in, I've seen people use like a tree behind them because it's just kind of a plain background. I know Bella loves this burnt orange background one that she sees. But you want no background or a blurred background. You don't want people like looking and going like, what's that desk behind there or what's going on, right? So you want it to, you can see the difference here. Like she's against a wall, or, you know, where is she? What's that? You want you to be the focus. So you don't want a whole lot in the background. You also want, and this is where mine is failing, and it's because it's the wrong shape. You want to show those shoulders. So you see in that photo, she's got her shoulders showing. You want to go about just below the shoulders up on a picture like that. Mine is like an extreme close up. I need to fix it, but it's as easy as a click of a button, right? All right, so what's our, go ahead and jump on to our next step.
Another example to get good lighting, like you said earlier, you don't need a professional photographer. These cell phones have such advanced lenses in it. If you know how to use them correctly, you're going to get a good quality image as well. And you can use the natural lighting, avoid the lighting in the background, because then it makes you actually look darker. These camera lenses are very hypersensitive to lighting. So if you have the natural light's best, and preferably in a solid background, because keep in mind, you're a tiny little bubble. That's your headshot. They're not looking at this whole landscape view. They're looking at a tiny little bubble of you, especially if it's on a mobile phone. So the focus should be on your face, your facial features. And we're in the hygiene profession, so we should be showing off some smiles with teeth. Show it with teeth, because there's a lot of research out there that people who smile in their photos seem to be more approachable. People perceive them to be more approachable, more friendly, and I mean, you can strike a power pose. Nothing wrong with that. If you really, that's what you want, that's great. But I think most of us, we got pretty pearly teeth, so we should be sharing them off. So I think a chat came through. Is there a way to make the slides larger on the screen? I don't know.
I think it might be a setting issue, because on my end, it's taken up most of the screen. So I think if you pop up to your view button on the upper right, it might give you some viewing options. Very good. So I hope that helps. Oh, it's on her phone. She can't.
Oh, okay. So I like that. That's a good idea. Turn your phone, and I think it's going to accommodate. So the next thing is the hot headline. So when you create your headline, it's usually right next to your photo, or under it if you're using a desktop computer. You want to break it down to 3 categories. The first category is your target profession. This is important to know, because this is where the keyword search comes in. So what is the target profession that you want? Most of us are dental hygienists, but perhaps some of us are educators, and our target profession is education. Then industry. What industry are you interested in? This is where you could be a little bit more specific. If you're a dental hygienist, but you have a passion for perio, well, that would be something a recruiter would need to know, especially if they are a pedo only office. You know, these are the things that you want to display right away. And then value. What value do you bring to your profession? And we all have value. We have a unique skill set, whether we're, the cheerleader in the office, or we're the ones who help manage the team, or we have dual functions between practice operations duties and clinical. So there's a talent that you bring to the profession. You just need to identify what that is. And what's interesting enough, all you need to do sometimes is ask your own team members, because sometimes it's our normal, but our peers can identify our key strengths and what value we bring to the office. And it's interesting because we're just kind of numbed by it, because we think that's normal, but it's not everyone's normal. So we all have specific skills and talent. So as I mentioned earlier, it's all about search engine optimization. When the keywords that you select is going to optimize the search engine, and from recruiters or people who are looking for speakers, they now see in the top of the search engine related to the topic of their event. And I don't think I have to go into this slide too much. I think it was a video on what it looks like. Oh, okay, here we go. It's a video on search engine optimization. So I'm looking for a dental hygienist. What do I see? And you could see, first you'll see some jobs. Usually they're paid on the top. But then on the right side, you could see all the way on my right side, dental hygienist, how many, at that time that I searched, there was 9,720, 262 dental hygienists. So if I select people, because you can do select people, you can also read some of these people's profiles. So keep in mind, it is a LinkedIn is an online a resume, and you can use that successfully.
Can I piggyback off of that? I will say, just on the recruiting end, if you, let's say you do not check your LinkedIn every day, and I'm sure there's some hand raisers on there that are like, I don't check my LinkedIn every day. That is fine. But what I would do is you can add your email, and if you choose, you can add your phone number too. So if you want people to be able to get a hold of you about projects, or maybe people to get a hold of you about jobs, put those in there, because if you're not going to be checking your LinkedIn every day, that gives them another way to reach you. I've tried to reach people before on LinkedIn that don't have that, and then like 3 months later, they're like, "Oh, Emily, nice to I can't believe I missed this," and I'm thinking, I would have emailed you.
Just to recap those 3 areas that I mentioned earlier, your target profession is a job position, whether your desired job position or your current job position. The industry, this is the market. And when you write your value, you actually should use an adjective and a noun that best describes you. So ask your team if this one question, if you were able to choose one word to best describe me, what would it be? Or you could type it on Facebook. I actually did an exercise like that on Facebook, and the responses were overwhelming. It was the most uplifting thread I've ever written in my life. All I asked was one word. I wasn't expecting people to write things about me, but I also recognized a consistent theme. And the key word that's came up the most is that I was inspirational. And I never thought of myself as inspiring. I know I had passions, and I think a lot of people have their passions, but when people start to describe you a certain way, that's important to know, because those people at the end of the day may be the ones that you're going to use in your call reference list. And so you want to know what they're thinking or saying about you, and you want your resume to be consistent on how other people speak of you as well. So it's important to, find out what some of these adjectives are that people use when they describe Martel. What keywords do you hear, Martel, when you're a leader, probably? Oh, I can't hear you, but.
Well, she's definitely a leader, but
I was going to say leader. Definitely leader. For sure.
Yeah, no, and that's probably one adjective out of many that they use for you, but they probably came and told you to at some point. Did you see yourself as a leader early on?
Change maker. That's my word for you, Martel.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I knew who I was when I hopped out the womb.
Awesome. I love it. And I think some people, struggle, or especially when you're young, you're still looking for your identity or figuring out what your purpose is. Find out what people already picked up on you, and then, continue to use that to guide you. Here's an example of when you break it down to that key level. Here's your job title. This person is an aspiring Java software developer, because this is his job title, software developer. What's the industry? Well, he's seeking entry-level programming position. And then what value does he bring? His experience with JavaScript and Python. So when a recruiter is looking for a candidate that's qualified to work in JavaScript or Python, this person will come up on the top. And I like he also even started with an adjective by saying aspiring. So that means that it sounds like that he's also developing, continuing with his development as well. All right, so I drafted a few examples. And so if you don't have any examples, you can use these. I think there's some that are fun out there. So if you're a dental hygienist, you're starting out, you're not sure what to do. I mean, you can use this one. You're a dental hygienist. What's the industry? General dentistry. But here's the value. If you're the cheerleader in the office, maybe you are the curator of team culture. And that's a lot more sexy than just dental hygienist. What's even sexier is if you're a rock star dental hygienist, and you love whitening, then perhaps you're attracted to cosmetic dentistry profession. And then You're a whitening wizard who has brightened over 99 smiles and counting. It's fun. It's a lot more of who you are and what value you bring in the office you're in. Because if you know this is what you desire and you find job satisfaction in, you're also going to filter out jobs that don't meet up to your expectation or your preferences as well. So you're putting it out there. What are the things that you're looking for? If you're an adjunct professor, the industry is dental hygiene education. If you run awards, heck, put that on there. Why not? You're not limited to just 3 areas. You can continue to do that. And what kind of professor are you? I'm pretty sure you're not the same. We all have different personalities and how we deliver the content. Well, if you're an eccentric educator who optimizes on virtual learning, that is awesome. And I know we have some people who are consultants as well. If you're a consultant, podcast host, are you just a speaker? No, why not be a sensational speaker? And if you're into tapping into the business side of things, it's good to also display some of the results that you had early on. And if you don't want to put some of the results in the header, you can also put that in your about. So get your pen and paper ready because hopefully you've already had that and started to take some notes, because I want you to start thinking on designing some of your headers, just drafting it. And what would you do now with some of the information that we've provided for you?
Let's throw it in the chat. Give us some ideas. Oh, sorry. Anybody know what they are in their office, or a fun way that you could describe your greatest asset to the office or to the company or to yourself?
And you can just choose a noun and an adjective. So go ahead, and think of the noun first and then an adjective. So you're a happy hygienist, jack of all trades.
That's trying to think how I would put Jack. I love that, jack of all trades.
Oh,
I love it.
Dynamo. That's a good one. Busy, busy, busy.
Busy, busy, busy.
Let's come up with some fun ones here. If you're not creative enough and you're struggling in the creation part, we got something for you that's should make it a lot easier. So it's actually called a headline generator. And we will share with this to you at the end. And so it's a link, and it actually helps you with creating your headline for your LinkedIn profile. So I'm going to ask Martel, if you were to select one adjective from this option, what would you choose?
I don't see passionate up here, so I'm gonna go with exciting.
We can do other.
You can do other. We can add it.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, passionate, right there. Some people might interpret that, like I'm not angry, I'm not mad, I'm just passionate.
All right.
Whatever I'm doing.
Here's that. All right. So now your role and position.
Oh, I would say speaker for sure. Can you do multiple or just one?
No, you.
Yes, I would put a speaker, project manager, corporate executive, and marketing professional, because I am my brand.
Oh, it's only to let me choose one. Oh, I thought
I would put marketing professional.
All right.
That one, yes.
Now we're going to add a little bullet. So you could choose a design.
Oh, okay. Smiley face for sure.
And so, okay. So you're right now passionate marketing professional. If you see it's being auto-populated here, yep. You started with the adjective and a marketing professional. Oh, personal branding.
Yep, I would put leadership for sure.
Let's add a suffix.
Advocate. Does this even make sense?
It will.
Okay. Period, point blank. Is there a period there? There we go.
Extracurricular activity.
Oh, what's going on? Community organizer.
Absolutely.
This is exciting. I would put another little dot there. click. Yep. And oh, I like the powerhouse.
There we go. So what you can do is now copy this and put it in your LinkedIn header. So if you, or you can, copy, and then before you post it, make your edits if it wasn't available to it. The good thing is you have these little dots to the, some of those icons to help break out what your different titles are. So if you're the jack of all trades, you might want to display some of these trades on here as well. So then you're attracting, keep in mind, you want to be able to optimize your search engines, and you want to select the right nouns and adjectives that's going to attract the right opportunities that you want, and then filter out the ones that you don't want. It is going to do that for you as well. So we'll be sending that out in email at the end. All right, so now we got that. This is the last fundamental, is the awesome about. So Emily, go ahead.
All right, so this is our personal pitch. You might have also heard it. Anybody heard of an elevator speech? Personal pitch, they're very similar. It's basically, if you just had a few seconds, which on LinkedIn you do, what would you say about yourself so that others would be interested in what you're saying or interested in what's going on with you? And it's a way to really maximize your value and really tell a quick story about yourself. So let's jump into awesome about. All right. So this is how you can deliver that 7-second pitch. That's why they kind of call it an elevator pitch. I guess if you got in an elevator with somebody you just wanted to talk to and you just had a few seconds to talk, what would you say? So in this, the first part, you're going to, how would you define yourself? So think of this example as like a brand leader. It could be, a clinical rock star, whatever you want to put there. And then your primary benefit that you provide. So that's kind of that thing Bella was talking about, might be like what you've asked others. If you don't recognize what it is in yourself, it may be something that you're passionate about, like Martel has, and you might put that in there. So your primary benefit that you provide. And then you want to create, you want to add a secondary benefit. So something else, if you were teetering on what benefits you had and you had a couple, you want to add the second one. And then the expected result your target can get. So this is what do those two things that are great about you do for the people that you work with, or for your employer, or for people that you want to attract on LinkedIn. So this really breaks down how to word that. So you can play with this and really try out different ways and see what you like. To this, I would also say, check out other people's. There's no shame in that game. I always look at other people's. And if I really like something, I don't copy their exact wording, of course. That would be a little weird. But I do copy the way that they've written it. Oh, that's really, I like how they've written this. How could I change that only about myself, So also take a peek at other people's so that you can see what works for you. So this is your 7-second pitch. We can go ahead and pop over. I think we go through mine next, right? Aspen, this just tells who I am, what I do, which is passionate about growing the careers of dental professionals through mentorship, learning and shared goals. And then I'm a huge, just like I screamed at the beginning of this, advocate for dental hygienists, committed to helping you with what works well for you. So that's mine. There's my picture that doesn't show the shoulders. You can see it's very close up. You can see that.
And your about is a summary about you, right? So yeah. This is another place too that you can also tell your story, because when I'm looking at, oh, Emily's an energetic speaker, I want to hear her story. How did she even become a dental hygiene speaker? And people love stories.
Yes.
They're going to see your qualifications later on, but this is the part that you can share your story, how your career, or how did you become where you're at today? And that's a lot more attractive, because when people are browsing on mobile devices, once they start with your mobile or your about, it gives them the option to see more. And that's what you want. You want someone to, be so caught on the hook, that first initial pitch, that they want to read more about you. And once they do that, then you're going to generate a strong network of people that share maybe similar interests as you. And it's interesting because I've even connected with so many people that I've never met in person, that I've only had LinkedIn conversations, which led to telephone or video conversations, because we had shared passions and similar interests. And there's a lot of people out there that are ahead of you and are willing to support you too. And they love mentoring other people that are trying to, step outside of their role or continue to advance their professional career and development as well.
I would say I totally agree. And just to piggyback about what you're saying about stories, that's kind of the big thing with LinkedIn when you describe your jobs and stuff. It's not like a resume, it's like a storytelling event. So I heard the greatest thing on this radio interview the other day. They said people don't want bedtime facts. They want bedtime stories. So this is really an opportunity to tell stories. And in those stories, you really want to highlight what you do well. So you want it to be something that someone wants to read, a little different from the resume, which is more like just the facts, please. So it's really a great opportunity to Bella's point to
share your story
for other people.
You're sharing your story. You're telling people why you are where you're at now and what your goals are as well. This is your story, and people love stories. Recruiters love stories. A lot of top executives, they love. It's about who you are as a person. And if it's not a good fit for some people, good. It's better that they don't connect with you. You want to attract your tribe. And if you write the right story, people are going to follow you, and they're going to be excited.
Do you know who I think is a great storyteller? Marta, I think that's part of your business model, kind of, is like you are a storyteller.
I just speak my truth, and I feel like it's hard for a lot of people to say it without thinking they're going to be judged, and I just don't care. So if you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see like, oh, she just put everything on here. And it's funny that you guys say that, because I can see everybody who views my profile and I'm like, what would that person be interested in with me? But like you said, they clicked more because they were interested. And I created LinkedIn a while ago, so I'm going to go update mine because I need to see what's on there. But I literally shared where I started, the struggle, where I am and where I'm going. And I feel like, when I think about LinkedIn, I think about it's your resume, it's your social media resume. But essentially, like, you wouldn't go in a job interview and start saying like, oh, I grew up and, I didn't have this and I didn't have that, and this is why I started whatever. Like, you wouldn't say that. You would just go there for the job. It would be more so facts. So you're right. That is part of, my story and why I'm here in the business model. But that's also a big part of why BrownGirlRDH is successful. So don't be afraid to like just put that out there and just be you. And just not transparent enough to where you put on your business out there, but be authentic. I'm not gonna say transparent. I'm gonna say be authentic, because it's different. In the world of dental hygiene, we are very conservative.
Yes, we don't need to. When you start seeing how everyone in their own professional industry are doing the same thing, it's because, they all have similar, interests, and I want to be more than what I am. And that should be our nature, is to grow. It should be our nature to grow and evolve over time and learn from our experiences. And there's a few that, they're comfortable where they're at, but I don't think most of us are. And I think most of us have a desire to be, what's the next step? What's the next level? And who do I need to connect with? And maybe I need to have other friends who are not clinicians so I can see what they're doing, because I think that we all have that desire to grow and learn from each other as well. So now that we know the 3 basic fundamentals, let's criticize this mock-up I did. I intentionally chose, and I want to hear what your thoughts are in the chat. Now that you know the fundamentals, what would you criticize in this photo or this whole profile? Or what opportunity?
Headshot.
It's my, what's interesting, the headshot, I picked a car selfie because when I searched dental hygienist in LinkedIn, I was surprised how many car selfies there were on there. And so I was like, okay, well, let me throw in a car selfie as well. Yeah, And not, it wasn't just dental hygienists. I think I saw a lot of entry level people too, with car selfies. And I'm like, guy's got a good camera. I could see it in the selfie. You
We're
just
getting
need-
some good responses in the chat. I see picture in the car with a smiley face, and then I see smile with your teeth.
Yeah, look at the smile. It looks like it's not as warming and inviting. It looks like I can have a little, Latin spice perhaps in me. And so it might be, it might, scare some opportunities away. All right, let's
They
look
thought
at
you looked sultry.
Oh, okay. All right, let's look at the headline. Almost all the dental hygienist headlines are the same: registered dental hygienist. And then usually, they talk about either the private practice or anything. And I think it defaults that way, if I'm not mistaken. So you actually have to customize it so it's not so sterile, I guess, for the lack of better words. And lastly, I am an experienced dental professional. I love my job. I am a team player, which is a cliche. For me, every time I read team player in a resume, I'm like, everyone's a team player until it's time to play the game. And then nobody steps up to become team player. So I think Martel, did you unmute? Were you going to add to that?
I'm sorry, I unmuted because you guys, we were talking about the headliner needs to stand out, and it said I am a team player, and I just went right back to like I am the I in team. Like there is no I in team, but that would actually get someone's like she's gonna stand out. She's gonna be the one to go above and beyond. For me, that's the person that I would want. I wouldn't want the one that I'm the team player, but I would want somebody that was a little bit like that go-getter, right? Like I want someone who's gonna, supersede me in whatever we're doing, because that's who you want personally. But there are some CEOs and some businesses out there that are looking for that person. Maybe they want you to run their company for them. They don't want the team player. They want the person.
They want the team leader. They want the team leader.
They want the team leader. So I just was laughing about that. And I was
yeah. And do you want to see more? If you were browsing on, do you want to see more? There's nothing more to see. So there's no opportunity for the viewer to engage anymore. They see what they got to see. They'll move on. So that's what you don't want, is that they pass your profile. So let's compare that with this profile that I created. Drastic difference. Yeah. And you don't even know anything about my resume. And with my hook is the people I support inspire me to deliver greatness. And why did I choose that? I actually referenced back to that inspirational leader. If I'm going to be an inspirational leader, how am I an inspirational leader? Well, I want people to know, it's the people I support. It's my team that inspires me to deliver greatness. And I think that's when somebody reads that, I'm like, whoa. And then I design training content for dental professionals. See more. Now people want to engage. Wait, I'm hooked. I like what I see. I'm a dental hygienist. What is a dentalpreneur? That's an industry that it's not a good search engine optimization word, but I intentionally selected that because it's dental entrepreneur. And I actually got that from I can't remember her name, Dr. out in Arizona. She is also active on LinkedIn, and we actually connected on LinkedIn, and she's supported me. She does that virtual dental education platform. So I think I've seen it a couple of times in BrownGirlRDH, and oh my goodness, I forgot her name. I can't believe it.
I feel like I should know.
Dr. K. I know it starts with a K, but nonetheless, I mean, if you see one profile, it's the same person, but I'm radiating differently in both profiles. And so I went from, in the second profile, I look like a boss babe. You don't see that in the first profile. And so what this will allow to attract opportunities, which it did. I actually did get a speaking engagement once I improved my headline again. And it led to an opportunity for me to add in a speaking event at the Missouri Dental Hygienists Association. Why? Because I posted something and I hashtag it. And one day I woke up and LinkedIn says, hey, your hashtag on 3D is trending. And that's the other thing about LinkedIn. It gives you analytics. And I love the analytics features. You could see who's viewing your profile. And that gives you an idea what are you attracting? What are you doing right? And can you continue to ride that wave significantly, because you're attracting the right viewers to you and all over the country or in different industries. You said something right, that somebody's looking at your post and looking at your profile.
Very fun.
All right, just a couple additional advice. I know we are at time. Also be selective with your connections. It's not about having, over 500 connections or 7,000 connections. It's about the quality of your connections. You're going to get a lot of different people trying to connect with you. And if you don't think they're going to bring value to you, don't feel obligated to accept it. You don't need to do that. You want to make sure it's about the quality of your connections. You can also replace your banner. It defaults to that digital banner, but if you're a speaker and you want to display that, you can make that as your banner in the background. So only to emphasize that you have done in-person speaking events or whatever you want to display that supports your headline. Etiquette and social media policies. LinkedIn is not as private. Well, social media is not as private in general, but LinkedIn is even more so public. There's really not much features for private. So if you like a post and it might be a controversial post, keep in mind that everyone in your network is going to see that as well. So don't forget that. Refresh your profile as you continue to do professional development, do that, and add a LinkedIn button to email signature. So what you can also do, what I have done, and I showed Emily about it, in the end of my emails, I have a digital LinkedIn signature as well. So it's a button after in my signature line, and it's an interactive button. So if I send an email out to somebody, to a vendor or anything, and I will embed a button with my LinkedIn on there, and it defaults that way, so they can actually connect. So if you want to broaden your network and expand your network, you can end your email signature with your LinkedIn profile and ask them, and they may connect with you. And there we go. That business card mentality, I'm expanding my network through my email signatures. And I've even done it with my personal emails. LinkedIn is a wealth of resources. Everything you need to learn about LinkedIn is on LinkedIn as well, but we are going to give you some basic tools and everything. So here's my business card. If you want to connect with me, send me an email later on. Don't hesitate to hit me or Emily or Martell up as well. We want you to be successful. We want you to display your talent, that you're not just a dental hygienist, that you bring value to the profession, that you have other skill sets that could be valuable even outside the dental profession as well. So thank you, everyone. It's been a pleasure.
I would say too, do you guys want, if you're on your LinkedIns right now, you should add everybody on here. These are people that are interested. So we'll leave it up for a sec and let you guys have a chance to add each other. I can take a screenshot of it. I have added my 50 for today, so you'll have to add me. It's not it's not me being offensive. I just add 50 every day.
Yes, and I like that, Belanji, you said it's not a popularity contest. You definitely want to add people who bring value to what you're trying to do.
Yes.
Or, seek those people that could somehow, in your career path or wherever you're going, like help you or that you can learn from.
Absolutely. You want to add, I always add hygienists, because I feel like we all have value, but you'll get people, and Bella and I have both gotten this, where they're like, I think I just put in there, I have a wealth management guy that won't leave me alone. I don't even have wealth for him to manage. I don't know. I don't know why he keeps writing, but you'll get invites that are kind of spammy. And if you leave those out, you'll get more use out of it, to their point, for sure. All right.
Well, thank you guys. Thank you for hosting this. Thank you guys, everyone, for coming on. Diane, Daniel, thank you.
Aw.
Awesome. And we'll upload this video. Emily, what's the link?
It'll be on so if you go to YouTube and you look for Aspen Dental Ask Me Anything, it'll be on that hopefully by Monday. I have my boss upload it for me. So go ahead and check that out. And also I should put a plug in for Vibe if you haven't already heard about it. I know Martell's put it up on Brown Girl, but we are doing Vibe, which is a recruiting event for Aspen Dental. And it's also just kind of a way to get to know us. It's a huge event. It's free to you guys. It's January 23rd. So please, if you haven't signed up already and you have interest, you can get a hold of me, or you can check us out, and we'll make sure, or you can go to our website, our jobs website, and it's on there. But we're actually giving away $5,000 sign-on bonuses that day only. So there are interviews if you're interested in interviewing. And if you want to interview that day, there are $5,000 bonuses. So sorry, had to throw a plug in there, but it's a really cool event. And if it's something that works for you, I'd like you to take advantage of it.
I'll repost that too. So I think that's a great opportunity.
$5,000. That's, I get excited.
Girl, I was excited about the stimulus. $5,000, sign me up.
I know. Well, I got my first vaccine. I'm saving that stimulus. As soon as I get the second vaccine, I'm going on a tropical island. I'm waiting for that second vaccine. Give me 3-4 weeks. Sometime in March, I'm going to be on a tropical island.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you, ladies. You've been awesome. I appreciate you so much.
And well, hopefully we'll
Thanks,
connect
guys. Good night.
soon. Bye.